As Maine keeps looking for ways to provide more renewable energy, there is growing attention on developing huge wind turbines offshore in the Gulf of Maine, where it is windy much of the time.
Governor Mills has designated a research site 20 to 30 miles offshore to build multiple floating wind platforms in the years ahead. And a huge test project is still planned to be built off Monhegan Island in 2 years.
With all of that development at stake, the Maine Department of Transportation is moving ahead with plans to create a special port facility to support wind power. Here's News Center Maine's Don Carrigan.
From Maine to Washington and beyond, there are all kinds of predictions that offshore wind power is coming to the Gulf of Maine. Environmental leaders like Beth Ahern say it has to come.
If we are going to transition to 100% clean energy by 2050, which is the goal in the Climate Action Plan, the governor's plan, we have got to develop offshore wind. It's not going to happen without it.
But locating giant floating wind turbines 20 to 30 miles out to sea will require a place to build and service them. So the Maine DOT is studying the state's 3 deep water ports with a special eye on Searsport.
Mack Point's been an industrial location for over 100 years.
Searsport town manager James Gilman and Beth Ahern of Maine Conservation Voters are leading a citizen advisory group formed by the DOT to help guide the decision on locating an offshore wind development port. Searsport may be front and center because of location, space, and history. They will study both the mainland area on Mack Point and the state-owned land on Sears Island, where there was a controversial port proposal 30 years ago. That project was finally stopped by environmental opposition. But Ahern says the arguments have changed.
My number one concern is climate change. Our planet is burning up, quite frankly, and we have got to address that. And offshore wind is an important, very important part of addressing that.
The advisory group will look at the engineering studies, of course, but also seek out opinions from local people, from fishermen, from those who use Penobscot Bay, and those who want to protect it. Town manager Gilman says he's found a lot of local support for the idea.
I think most people are pretty excited about it. It is the future. It's the future of energy in the whole country. Leases are being let out on the east and west coast, and I think inevitably the Gulf of Maine will go out to lease, and it'll be exciting to be part of that solution.
He says it could also mean jobs for the area if the giant platforms and turbines were to be built at the port. But that could also bring local challenges, all material that will be weighed by the advisory group.
We are going to listen to all the concerns that are raised and do our best to get answers.
Here at the Maine DOT, they say none of this port development will happen quickly. And they say whatever the final plan is, it will be heavily influenced by what the advisory group has to say. That process will begin next month. Don Carrigan, News Center, Maine.
That study will also be evaluating Eastport and Portland as potential locations for the offshore wind power port.
The project proposed near Monhegan will test the design from the University of Maine for a massive concrete floating platform with a turbine as high as 500 or 600 feet mounted on top and then towed out to sea.